Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. I just got back from the Red Pill Expo, and it was great to hang out with people that are like-minded and, in person. That's always the next step, right? When you start looking at these topics and reading people's material, watching their videos, looking at their Twitter feed or their social media and following along all the reporting that's happening around the world, the independent type of reporting. And when you get to be face-to-face with them, when you get to shake hands and see them in the flesh, it adds a whole new dimension, a whole new reality to what we're doing here. This is the real community. These are real people behind these projects. And it's just a really great time to get to know them as people, not just as researchers, but it's great, the conversations that you have. You don't have to explain the basics. You can start the conversation at a higher level because everybody understands the base level stuff, that this world system is corrupt and it's run by corrupt people. But this event wasn't promoted as exclusively a Christian event, although some of the people that are involved, Patrick Wood and others, are definitely Christian, and there were certain messages that were very much a spiritual message, a gospel message, as part of the actions that you can take either politically. There was a lot of political stuff there that I found interesting, but that's not really my cup of tea personally. Getting politically involved to me is there's a level that you can do it at, and there are people that are dedicated to that. And especially at the local level, that's where I think it's a little more interesting in terms of looking in to get involved. But otherwise, the political stuff was interesting, although again, wasn't my cup of tea. But in this video, I just wanted to share with you a brief conversation I got to have with Robert Kiyosaki. Now, Robert Kiyosaki is a very famous author. He wrote a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I felt a little rushed because I asked him if I could sit down and interview him at some point over the weekend, and he said, "What about now?" And so I was a little unprepared for the discussion to take place. If I can go back and ask him another question in the time that I had, I would definitely have asked him if he has ever seen or heard or have rubbed shoulders with people that were openly Luciferian or, satanic and doing these types of things. Robert Kiyosaki is successful. He's a wealthy man. Although, he's not like super ultra rich, but he's definitely gamed the system enough to, I guess you can call it, win in the worldly sense. And again, this was a discussion that I got to have. It's not every day you get to sit with a best-selling author, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And one last thing, I apologize for the video here. I didn't realize my lens was actually broken and I had to click it back into place later. But this interview was recorded with a busted lens on my Nikon D3300 DSLR camera, which is, I know, not the best one. It's a beginner camera, but hey, what are you going to do? Got to start somewhere. So here it is, my sit-down discussion with author Robert Kiyosaki.
Well, first of all, I'm Robert Kiyosaki. I wrote a book, authored the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad 21 years ago. Still in the top 10 and like on Amazon and stuff like that. But I just want to also say I'm here at the Red Pill, and I belong to no political association. I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm not liberal or conservative. I believe in free speech and freedom of religious choice. So I say that because a lot of times I get categorized. Right. I'm just a human being. If anything, I'm a capitalist, which is a bad word today in many places. But I'm the Red Pill because it's freedom of speech. I come to listen to some way out ideas and some controversial things. And it just keeps my mind open. And, some of it is beyond me and some of it is pretty disturbing. Very disturbing, in fact, stuff we don't ever see on mainstream media. So I recommend coming to Red Pill if you don't mind being, last year I was here. The paper called me a white supremacist. I'm not even white.
I got called that on Twitter as well.
Yeah, how can I be a white supremacist? And by the way, I'm fourth generation Japanese American. I had 7 uncles fight in World War II. One was captured by the Japanese, and I went to military school, 2 trips to Vietnam, one as a Marine Corps pilot, and once as a student of the academy. So when somebody called me an anarchist, I go, you guys just like to label people. And all I am is a free citizen who has an open mind that likes to listen to what different people say is disturbing them. And there's a lot of disturbed people here. And a lot of it is justified and should be heard. And more people should be here. That's why I see it. But it's also frightening when you get classified and pigeonholed as some kind of extremist or an anarchist, or what do you call that? What do they call them today?
All kinds of names.
Yeah. So it's a way of denigrating you. So, but anyway, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for my own education as well as do a talk on financial education. Well, first of all, the story of Rich Dad's Poor Dad's true story. My father, poor dad, was a PhD from Stanford and University of Chicago, Northwestern, very smart guy, but he was poor, and most academics are poor. Many of them have a socialist bent, should I say? What I mean? And then my rich dad was my best friend's father, a man who never went to school, and so one of the things I decided at age 9 was who was I going to listen to? I'm not really religious, but in Sunday school I learned about the 3 wise men. And the story of the 3 wise men, everybody should listen to. The story is not that they were rich or anything like that. What made them wise was they're always seeking the new teacher. And I think everybody should be seeking the new teacher, not the packaged stuff they sell you in school. And so every time I talk to people, because I'm very critical of the education system, because I think it's obsolete and bloated and behind the times. What did school ever teach you about money?
Nothing. I didn't learn
Nothing.
about money. My econ class, nothing.
Nothing.
I learned
And
about
economics is not money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my rant. I learned everything about money playing Monopoly with my rich dad, and everybody knows the formula. I mean, there's a lot of formulas. I could win the lottery. I could become a movie star. Could be a pro basketball player. But the way I learned to be rich was playing Monopoly. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. That's it. 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So when I was through with my military service after 10 years of it, I just started playing Monopoly. And today I own 8,500 houses. I own hotels, oil wells, businesses, licenses. I'm a hardcore capitalist, but I just play Monopoly. I'm still having fun. Well, it's the importance of financial education, and I leave people with a question: what did people teach you about money? What did school teach you about money? And the answer for most people is nothing. Like they say, I had economics. Well, economics is not money. Economics is a quasi-pseudo-science run by people who want to be scientists, but they're really puppets of the U.S. government. They're not rich people. Most economists aren't rich. Do you realize the Federal Reserve Chairman, Ben Bernanke, was making $199,500 a year? I make that a week. And this guy's running the world's biggest economy, or the biggest central bank. And so we're run by these, what I call academic elites, like my poor dad. They're good people, but they're poor. They're not rich people. They don't think like capitalists.
So do you believe that there's an abundance that can be had for everybody on the earth?
No, of course not. You have to do your part. There's,
Well, you have to work for it, obviously, but...
Well, you look at it this way, right? The richest countries in the world have the poorest people. Why is that? Look at Africa. Why did so many white guys go to Africa? Because there was resources there. You look at Venezuela today. Venezuela has the biggest oil fields in the world. And they're a basket case because of corrupt government. And then you look at Zimbabwe, was called the breadbasket of Africa 30 years ago. Today it's the basket case of Africa. And so what we have is a system of leadership and education and organizations run by poor people. I'm not political, but President Obama is from Hawaii also. He was a poor man who went to rich schools. And then I'm not Republican or Democrat, but I can tell by his policies he really doesn't know that much about money. He's like my poor dad, Japanese, good guy, hardworking, good father, but our schools have no financial education. And when I look at the crisis throughout the world today, a lot of it has to do with money. Why are we fighting in the Middle East? Money. It's called oil. Why was I fighting in Vietnam? Oil. You know, why is China fighting, cutting deals with Russia? Oil. You know, I mean, people got to wake up. It's not political. It's money.
It's true. And, they say that data is the new oil.
Oh, jeez.
And it's a saying now that's going out there. What do you think? Last question. I know I said that last time, but
I enjoy, but I want to assure you, I'm not political.
Yeah, I get that.
I just hate stupidity.
I have to say the same thing.
Well, my next book coming out is called Fake, because everything's fake today. There's fake news, there's fake social, people have fake followers. Right. There's fake Gucci, fake Rolex. There's a deep fake. Yeah. Everything's fake today. So, but the real problem, in my opinion, is fake money. Then we have fake teachers. Most teachers really shouldn't be teaching. They don't know anything about money. Yeah. Why do you go to school? Get a job? No, I want to learn about money. And then there's fake assets. So, and the fake assets today are like derivatives, credit default swaps, mortgage-backed securities, CLOs. So I think what's happening, what I write about in my book Fake coming up, is that there's God's money, which is gold and silver. I say gold and silver are God's money because they were here when the earth was formed. Gold is atomic number 79, silver is 47. Then there's government money, also called fiat currency. That's fake money. But then there's people's money, which is crypto. And it's obvious to me that crypto is going to kick fiat monies, but because blockchain technology is more trustworthy than our central banking system. Right. So I think blockchain technology is the future, or similar like that, because the issue in the world of fake is trust. Right. Yeah. And I think more people, especially of your generation, will trust blockchain than old guys like me. RichDad.com. Remember, the book Fake is coming out. It's going to be online in parts for free. I do it because I want your questions. What am I not answering for you? You want to criticize my book? Stand in line. Everybody criticizes my work. But it's really to look for what do you need to know from me? Because I know what I know. I just play Monopoly. It ain't that hard. But most people don't know how to play Monopoly. So that's why Fake is coming out. I look for feedback, criticism, to stand in line with the rest of the critics.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That was my discussion with Robert Kiyosaki. Again, if I can go back, I would definitely try to pick at his brain about whether or not he's known people or rubbed shoulders with this Luciferian philosophy that's out there and get his perspective on those issues, which, again, difficult to do in a few short minutes that he was gracious enough to give me. Maybe in the future, if I get to have another conversation with him, I would definitely like to know, since he sees it. He's a man who has a lot of wealth, and he's not used it, as far as we can tell, to try to enslave mankind. So it would be interesting to see whether or not he has, again, come in contact with or has seen any of the things that have been reported in those upper echelons. And just keep in mind, again, although he is rich, although he owns oil wells and things like that, he is definitely not at the top of the echelon in terms of the power structures in this world and how much resources they have at their disposal. But it's interesting that he's an independent thinker, and he's really trying to educate people about the deception that is our current economic world order that has been set up and has been planned for decades, if not centuries, if we're talking about the spiritual side of things. So let me know what you guys think. I have more interviews from different people, longer conversations coming out. Some of them will be published on the Canary Cry Radio podcast. Others will be published right here on the Face Like the Sun channel. And I will share more of my reaction and responses and wrap-up thoughts and things like that in another video shortly here. Let me know what you guys think. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.